I'm going to hit go live on YouTube. And just a reminder, we are streaming out to the world here. Okay, the indication is green. Everything looks good. The meeting is yours, Mr. Chair. Let me know if you need anything.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome everybody to the meeting for today, the Planning Commission meeting. Call the meeting to order at 7:02. Can we do the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the
United States of America,
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation,
under
under
God,
God, indivisible,
with
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We're gonna have to work on that a little bit of that.
No, it's everybody's on different.
I know.
Need to pick a pledge leader.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to appoint somebody for that position. Can I have roll call, please?
Mr. Georges.
Present, attending from Clawson, Michigan, Oakland County.
Mr. Kucera.
Present, Clawson, Michigan.
Mr. McHale.
Present, Clawson, Michigan, 48017, and Oakland County.
Mr. Nushai.
Oakland County in Michigan.
Mr. Pernick.
Present, Clawson, Michigan, Oakland County.
Ms. Redmond.
Here.
Mr. Sanaki.
Present, Muskegon, Michigan, Muskegon County.
Mr. Shepard. Mr. Watson.
Present, Clawson, Michigan.
Ms. Redmond, could you please just confirm that your location for the virtual meeting?
What?
Can you confirm that you're in Clawson?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I lost the connection on my phone and I'm trying to reconnect. Clawson, Michigan.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Move on to agenda item number 4. We're going to seek approval of the regular minutes from the May 11th, 2021 Planning Commission meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll give a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting from last.
You want to give the date?
May 11th.
Sure, May 11th.
2021.
I'll support that.
Okay, I have a motion. I have support. Anybody have any changes or any problems with the minutes? Okay, hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
Mr. McHale.
Yes.
Mr. Nushai.
Yes.
Mr. Pernick.
Yes.
Ms. Redmond.
Yes.
Mr. Sanaki.
Yes.
Mr. Watson.
Yes.
Mr. Georges.
Yes.
And Mr. Kucera.
Yes. Thank you. We've approved the minutes from our last meeting. Now we'll have to move on to item 5, public discussion. Items not on the agenda. I'm gonna have to turn it over to whoever wants to run this thing because I can't do that part.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I can certainly call on the public if that's the point we're at right now.
Yes, please.
Sure. And then Joe, if you could just minimize the screen sharing for just a moment.
Yep.
Thank you. If there's anyone from the public that would like to speak, we ask that you raise your virtual hand. You can find your virtual hand on most devices by clicking on participants at the bottom of your screen, and that will open up a dialog box where you will find that feature. Again, if you would like to speak at this time, we ask that you raise your virtual hand. If there's anybody on the phone, if you press *9, that also raises your virtual hand. Mr. Chair, I'm not seeing any takers for public comment at this time.
Okay. Give them a minute. There's no one from the public wishing to bring the agenda up. I will close public discussion. We will move on to agenda item number 6, consideration of a site plan approval for 1000 North Crooks. And I'll open it up for Mr. Joe Tangeri to get us going here on this one.
Sure thing. Just put my screen share back up here. All right, thank you. So yes, we're looking at 1000 North Crooks. That is the current home of ND Industries, current and future home. They're not going anywhere. They are proposing an addition to the existing industrial building that is on that site right now. That's a permitted use in the BRD2 Business Renewal District. So the what happened to the slides that I had for that? Where are they? Hang on one second. For some reason, my slides aren't showing up. I may not have hit save. I think that's what happened.
Oops.
It's saving now, and the slides are going to be showing up. Boy, it's a good thing nothing happened to my computer because I've had that up there since about 3 o'clock.
Well, I would have helped you out. I would have had that ready for you. Back up.
All right. So
That's okay. This wouldn't have happened if we were in a group.
Yeah, it still would have. He still would have
It
been
might
using
have still happened.
where, what's
Oh,
going on
no.
here?
Less likely, probability.
Well, I'm just going to switch my share to the actual presentation because it doesn't seem to want to show these slides on the screen. Can people actually see that now?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
No.
Hold on, you just lost it.
I lost it.
Yeah, just nothing but type now. Slideshow.
Yeah, we're seeing a magnified image of one piece of the presentation, unfortunately, Joe.
Okay, all right. I'm stopping the share. I'm just gonna start again.
Isn't technology wonderful?
It
Yeah,
is when it works.
we had it up a second ago.
There it
It's
is.
back. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'm just going to be in the presentation because for some reason the presentation view doesn't want to show the slides that I'm trying to show you. So anyway, this is the site from the air. You can see that it's got the R2 single family on the east and south sides, and then more BRD2 to the north with some kind of mix of, there's like a dance academy and some little offices and things in that next building. And then across the street, which is Troy, that's their IB Industrial Business District, and they've got some office and industrial buildings over there. And this is kind of what it looks like in a more oblique view, kind of looking over those yards that back up to it. You can see there's kind of a big lawn in the back of the property and a kind of large yard back there where they've got some truck wells. And here's what it looks like from the street, kind of coming up from the south. You can see that long masonry wall along the south lot line. And then from the north, this is the view you get kind of across the driveway for that property to the north. And then here is a survey of the site, just showing what's there right now. And then I'm going to switch over to the plan view for this next little bit of the presentation. So you can see they want to add this addition back here. And that is 30,682 square feet. The current building is 55,500 square feet. So it's not quite doubling in size, but it is getting bigger. The height of this addition is 26 feet 2 inches. So that fits comfortably within our height limit of 30 feet. The existing truck wells that are in the back of the building that we were just looking at, those are going to be moved to the side of the addition, and they've got kind of a bump in So a lot of that kind of loading work takes place a little more internal to the building than it does now with this addition. And the addition is meant to serve as a shipping and receiving warehouse, and we can let the applicant or their representative talk about that a little bit more once we get to them. So all the setbacks of the district are met. The front setback is supposed to be 10 feet. They got 96. That's not changing. The north side setback is also not changing. We actually only require 0 feet there, and they've got 49. South side setback is another 0, and they've got 70 feet to the existing building and 110 to the addition. And then the rear setback has to be 25 feet, and they have 136.9 feet to the rear lot line. So they've got some office, manufacturing, and warehouse uses in this building when you look at the whole thing, including the existing. And they are showing a shortfall of parking spaces. So that would require a variance. I think that we need to address tonight, why they're proposing fewer parking spaces than would normally be required. But, I think that in general, I would say that if they can make a good case that they don't need the full complement of parking, then fewer parking spaces and less pavement is ultimately preferable to paving out a big portion of the site for no reason. So I kind of addressed the loading in the bay already, so we can skip that part of the letter. They are putting a dumpster enclosure in alongside the addition. It's kind of goes into that, it's tucked into that little corner of the building that's created by the addition. The site does have the existing screening wall on the southern property line, and there's a fence on the east property line. They actually included an image of those in their package. You can see that. There's their screen wall on the south side, and then over on the east side, there's the fence. That's all existing. This is what their gate looks like. That's in the back. They are removing a couple of trees to put in this addition. They actually are replacing them behind the building. They're replacing 2 with 3 in the rear yard. They are also showing a new planting area with a couple staggered rows of evergreens near the new parking surface at the east end of the lot. You can see that on the plan right here. So that kind of also serves a screening function from this open lawn area that goes over to the properties over here to the east. They're not proposing any new signage. We don't know if they're proposing any new lighting. It's not really mentioned in the package. There's some lighting on the south facade at present, and there's a few on the east facade. Those, of course, would be going away because that facade's not going to be external to the building anymore. The existing fixtures, from my inspection, don't look to be fully shielded as we would require now. So one thing that we should talk about is whether or not we'd like them as part of this overall approval to shield those existing fixtures. And then we do ultimately need a lighting plan that just confirms that any new lighting complies with the ordinance. That is something that if you were to choose to approve this tonight, we could review that administratively. They've got their pedestrian circulation taken care of. This property has a sidewalk that's existing. The BRD2 district does have some design specifications for buildings. Materials wise, I'll show you the elevations here. I've got them in here. We can see that the building essentially matches what's already there. The one thing they don't address is whether there's any new rooftop equipment that would be installed and whether that equipment would be visible, and if so, if it's intended to be screened as required. The existing rooftop equipment, I kind of did a little circuit of this building. It's not generally very visible from the neighboring rights of way. I didn't go into anybody's backyard or anything, but you can't really see it that well from the street. Other agencies have looked at this. Engineering did provide some comments. None of them were particularly major. And then, we always had our little notes about sustainability, that, we're served by public facilities and services. We always encourage people to seek out, green recycled materials and other, sustainability friendly methods for construction. And, otherwise, apart from those couple of items that are in bold in the letter, we felt that this, we could recommend approval of this site plan subject to satisfactory resolution of those items in bold. Any questions for me before we let the applicant have their say?
I'd have 2 questions for you.
Sure.
This is the first time I've seen a site plan come in front of Planning Commission where the only thing we were provided in our packet is an aerial view, and none of these line drawings or prints or sketches are included in our packet. So it's a little bit hard to just look at an aerial view of it. So I went over there this afternoon, drove around, and looked at it. I hope some other people on planning actually saw the site. The backyard there, it looks like there's a baseball diamond behind it. So they've got plenty of room to add the addition, and they're still going to have a lot of green grass area left behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked to seen the prints in the packet, but
there was a link provided to them, like we've been doing recently on the agenda.
Okay, I must have missed that somehow. One question I have is the adjoining residents, have they been informed that this project's underway, that they're going to expand their building? Has anybody talked to the residents living abutting it?
I'm not aware of anybody having any conversations with those residents. This is a site plan. It's a permitted use, so there's no notification requirement on the part of the city.
That's not a requirement? Somebody can put that up without talking to neighbors about it?
Anytime there's a permitted use, yeah.
Okay. Okay, then does anybody else on planning have questions for Joe?
I actually have a question. I don't know if this is more for you, Joe, or for the applicant. Just wondering what the traffic flow, if they're anticipating a change in traffic flow, or if they're just looking to be more efficient. Also just curious, the buildings, are they attached buildings? I saw a line, but just be to show us the separation in the buildings, but are they going to be one uniform building, or are they going to be separate?
It's one building, yeah. I can let the applicant speak to the traffic, but I can tell you it's one building. Yep.
Okay.
There should be no change in traffic. It was to clean up the circulation where the trucks are fighting each other to get into the loading docks.
Is that the applicant speaking? Can you identify yourself?
Oh, Matthew Honer, TDG Architects, Pontiac, Michigan.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Joe, Jim McHale.
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, this is one of the other guys. Yeah, question regarding the allotment of parking spaces. Now, I did go to the site myself also. Mm-hmm. I did get a brochure, and I did watch their nice video on the screen inside the lobby. I'll let the applicant describe why he's expanding his business, which would help the community as to why this is taking place. But as far as the parking places, what is that based on, just for the public record there?
Square footages. So our ordinance requires parking based on how much square footage you have in your building. So, office, and we're looking at usable square footage. So office, there's 6,566 square feet of office in this building. So we require one space per 300 square feet for that portion of the building. Then you have a manufacturing portion of the building, that's 41,788 square feet. And that requires one space per 500 square feet. I actually have it reversed in the letter. And then the warehouse requires one space per 1,500 square feet, and there's 30,682 square feet of warehouse. So when you do all the math, it adds up to 126 spaces, and then they are providing 86.
So with our package, we provided a letter from the company. They're over parked right now for the amount of employees they actually have on site. And they only anticipated 3, maybe 4 additional employees for this additional space they're doing. Most of their work is done automatically. They coat screws with chemical Loctite, basically, but theirs called Vibrotite, that locks the screw in place so it doesn't come loose. And it's all done by automatically by the machine. So they don't have a heavy employment load in the facility.
And would that be acceptable to us, or would they have to go to the ZBA to get a variance for it?
It still does need ZBA approval, but I mean, as far as you're concerned, you could make your approval conditioned on the granting of a variance.
Yeah, I'd prefer to do it that way. I don't think ZBA would have any problem at all granting the variance on that. If the applicant can address the lighting that's on there, are you going to shield the fixtures that are existing and the new fixtures?
Yeah, we can do that. That's not a big deal at all.
And rooftop screening, is that any problem as far as you can see?
So rooftop units, there's a existing chiller that is on the rear of the building that is going to basically stay where it is. It's just going to go up on the roof instead of being on a stand currently. That is visible and currently is visible. And then we'll probably have, we're working through our design, but 2 to 3 units located probably in the center of the roof area. So I don't know if they would be very visible, but we could work out with planning on sight lines or the engineer with sight lines and see if there's anything that would require screening.
Okay, that sounds good. So you can accomplish those things. AEW, our department, they looked at the parking lot and they're saying it's deteriorated. I drove through it. You've got some chuck holes, some potholes. I don't see it as being extremely bad, but the location of the fire hydrants must be verified to them. So you understand that if we approve your site plan, you still have to go through engineering approval, correct?
Yes, yeah, and I know my engineer was working with them. I don't remember if he said that we had additional coverage with the fire hydrants or if we had to add one. He was checking into it.
Yeah, that'll be between you and the engineering department. So I have no question. Anybody else on the commission have questions for the applicant?
Yes, I
No,
do.
the only, oh, go ahead.
No, Jim, go right ahead. I'm sorry. I came late, so I defer to you at this point.
Oh, okay. The reason I brought up the parking was I just want to make sure that with this addition, with the way they are going to divide the new space up as far as our calculating on the spaces meets it, because right now it looked like they had enough spaces to suffice based on when I drove through the parking lot, and this was in midday. I just want to make sure calculations are right and the usage that is being presented for this. In other words, if you're doing the manufacturing part of it, do you have the actual dimensions on that, Joe, as proposed and everything?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just asking for the record.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. So as far as the dock door and that bay access, how deep is that bay access on the south side?
It'll be 4 foot deep, so a semi truck can pull up flush with finished floor.
Okay, and you show a trench drain. Where does that drain out to?
It'll be tied into the storm system.
Okay. All right. Has that, I didn't see that on the engineering, but maybe just the fact I didn't.
Yeah, the
look at it.
existing walls are designed the same way, and they're already tied into the storm system.
Okay.
Basically, we're just relocating it.
Okay, so you already have a dock that's similar to that?
Correct. Yeah, there's two of them currently, one both at the north and south corner on the rear.
Okay, so by having this dock in this situation, does that help out with your freight and logistics?
Yes, so basically the one in the north is not used at all because of the location. So this allows to expand by having 3 docks. So we will have incoming, outgoing, and then a spare.
Okay. All right, and again, I apologize for coming late. On the south side, what was the fence on the south side? Is that a retaining wall on the south side?
It's a masonry wall, screen wall on the south side.
Okay, all right, so that's awfully close. I look at the traffic pattern, it may have been mentioned as far as semi-trailer getting close to that. Is there any risk of damage to that? Do there need to be bollards to help protect the wall at that point?
I left them quite a bit of room. That is a 6-foot masonry screen wall, so it's to be something very visible to the drivers, and there's a lot of circulation there for them to not get close to it.
Okay. So as far as idling the trailers that have been there in the past, how do they idle? Do they idle with exhaust?
They actually got a sign
trailer.
up. It says that the truck will be turned off when they're being loaded or unloaded.
Okay.
And in that recessed area, we're actually putting a partial roof over it, so it's protected from the weather.
Okay.
So yeah, this should actually be much nicer for the residents that are adjacent.
Okay. That's essentially it as far as the building. The only thing that I have comments on, and I don't know if you were made aware prior to coming here, but we need to change your plant schedule. Get rid of the calorie pear and the silver maple. Replace it with those two with something else that's fitting. And the reason why is that we have a surplus of maples within our community, and a calorie pear is an invasive species.
Okay.
So you can replace it with any type of flowering tree. That would be fine if that was the intent. But yeah, calorie pears, we've had too many of them. They don't last very long either. So
yeah, I could switch it out to flowering.
Not a crabapple.
Huh?
They don't last either.
Well, they get 50, 60 years. I can do also a cherry blossom.
Something like that. That's fine.
Dogwood.
I don't want to get too in the weeds. Yeah, that's fine. But again, as far as the silver maple, we have over 70% of our shade trees in Clausen are silver maples. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I can switch it out to a red maple or to a.
No, just Acer. We want to try and get rid of Acer maples
Acer altogether. Okay,
yes,
you want to get out of the family? Okay. Yeah, I could change them to honey locusts.
Well, I would try something different than that, but
okay.
So
I wanted something that would grow up quick,
Well, yeah, if you want something to grow up quick, you might want to plant a tulip poplar. That'll be tall as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we do have a menu of options.
Yes, we do. Well, yeah, I don't think it's been voted on yet. So.
No, we haven't. At this point in time, if nobody has any further questions or discussion on it, I'd entertain a motion.
Can I get a clarity real quick? This is Erin.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, so we briefly went over lighting. So they're not adding lighting here, because I know you said in prior they were loading from the back, and I don't know what hours they are operating, but it seems like if they are operating past 5:30 in the winter, if they're putting lighting right there where the trucks are pulling in and out, that might be something that's going to affect residents in a way that they hadn't noticed before. Did we clarify that or no?
They said they would take care of that, and that would probably be handled administratively when,
Yeah, we'd review the lighting plan once they
Yep.
provide it, yeah.
yeah, the building would have to be inspected at that point.
But as far as a requirement for shielding, we can include that in a motion, right?
Right.
Yes, absolutely, yep.
So I'd entertain a motion at this point.
Well, no, I had one question that wasn't answered yet, and I was asking the applicant to describe why this is taking place.
Oh,
It's got to be a positive thing.
yeah, they wanted a few reasons. They wanted to get all the storage containers that are in the rear of the property inside the building where they can be used. They needed additional receiving area for boxing product when it leaves. They actually just bought a couple of machines to automatically make the boxes. And then open up in the existing industrial area, get the shipping and receiving out of there to make more room for the current machines.
Which makes sense. But I just wanted you to, just to, I guess, toot the horn a little bit that you're expanding because of the business, and that's a good thing.
Expansion is good.
Yeah, they're doing good. Indie Industries has been doing very well over the last few years.
Thank you for the explanation.
You're welcome.
Any other comments? Now I will await a motion. Glenn, Ed?
Yeah, I know. I was trying to get my notes together. I came late. I have everything here though. Okay, I'll tell you what, why don't I give it a shot? It's been a while. I'm a little rusty. So I'll make a motion.
That's good for you.
Exactly. All right. So I will make a motion that we grant site plan approval for 1000 North Crooks Road under the of the items that have been addressed as I highlighted in green in the packet, and note that additionally the lighting shall require to be screened, a light plan be provided and worked out administratively with the city. Was there anything on screening that needed additional adjustment?
Yeah, they're going to work on providing something about rooftop screening, yes.
Okay. If you could add, Nick, if you could add what Joe just mentioned. All right. And also as far as the current landscaping plan, replace the gallery pear and the silver maple to be replaced with a non-acer species, and gallery pear replaced with a flowering tree of their liking. And anything else that needed to be addressed?
And you might.
I was mentioned about the parking variance.
Parking variance, yeah.
From the ZBA.
And then additionally, they will need to grant or seek a variance from ZBA regarding their parking plan.
That motion sounds okay
I'll
to me.
support that.
There we go.
I'll support that.
Motion and support. Can I go to roll call, please?
Mr. Nushai,
Yeah.
Mr. Pernick,
Yes.
Ms. Redmond,
Yes.
Mr. Sanaki,
Yes.
Mr. Shepherd,
Yes.
Mr. Watson,
Yes.
Mr. Georges,
Yes.
Mr. Cusero,
Yes.
Mr. McHale.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We've approved the site plan for 1000 North Crooks. Good looking building. Hope it stays that way.
Thank you and have a great night.
I
You
appreciate
too.
it.
Yep. They were cutting the grass. Looked good.
Yeah, looks very good. Item agenda 7, other business.
There is no other business.
No other business. How about a planner's report?
You're pretty much about to get a really long one at the joint meeting. So nothing for this meeting.
Okay, I had a couple questions, but well, the other meeting's starting up now, or
Yes.
we're overlapping then? Can we pass on staff report and training,
Yes.
legal update, and go to an adjournment so we can join the other crowd?
That's right.
Would everybody be happy
I'll
with that?
move that we adjourn this meeting of May 25th, 2021 of the Planning Commission.
Support.
Motion support, roll call, please.
Mr. Pernick,
Yes.
Ms. Redmond,
Yes.
Mr. Sanaki,
Yes.
Mr. Shepherd,
Yes.
Mr. Watson,
Yes.
Mr. Georges,
Yes.
Mr. Cusero,
Yes.
Mr. McHale,
Yes.
Mr. Nushai.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
And just a reminder, we want to make sure that everyone understands that this meeting will continue. You won't need to log out. You'll just stay in. I think I got it already. Let's see here. That was Glenn, right?
Yep.